Hey guys, Justin here from Soccer Drills Daily. Hey, this is a new segment I'm going to be trying in 2015, at least for the first month or two. It's going to contain stuff about soccer mindset and motivation tips, stuff to keep you motivated, to keep working towards achieving your goals, and to really help you become a better player. So I'm trying it out, seeing if people like it. Hopefully it helps you. If it does, leave a comment below and let me know, and also like this video. Or if there's something you'd like to see changed, let me know that in the comments as well. So for the first video of 2015, I want to talk a little bit about achieving your goals this year. So I'm not talking about making New Year's resolutions because I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I think they're pretty weak ways to achieve your goals. I don't think they contain enough stuff to really help you achieve them. And what I mean is, when I talk about goals, what I mean is you need to have a specific goal or a specific thing you want to achieve, and then you also need to have a deadline and a game plan. And that's something resolutions don't have. So I want to talk a little bit about setting and achieving your goals this year. So there's 4 steps you can take that are really going to help you achieve your goals this year. Step 1, it's kind of interesting. Step 1 seems really obvious, but a lot of players don't do it. It's know what your goals are. So if you asked 100 soccer players right now what their soccer goals are for 2015, a lot of them wouldn't know because they don't have a specific goal. They've got something vague like, oh, well, I want to be a better player. Well, what does that mean? You don't necessarily know what that means. So your goals need to be specific. You know, I want to make this team, or I want to be able to do this with my dribbling. You need to be specific about where you want to grow and where you want to be. And then once you have those, you need to write them down and put them in a place where you're going to see them, where it's going to remind you every time you look at it, oh, these are the things that I want to work on. Because otherwise, if you don't specifically know what you're working towards, and you don't keep it in front of yourself all the time, you're not going to achieve your goals because it's just going to get lost. Because everybody's busy, you have a lot of stuff that you want to do, and if you don't make this stuff a priority, you're not going to make it happen. So once you've figured out exactly what your goals are, you need to set a deadline. Setting a deadline is really important because if you just say, I want to be a better player sometime, you know, you're not going to work towards that because, I mean, what are you supposed to do? What do I do tomorrow? What specifically do I do to become a better player? Well, if I don't have a specific goal, then I don't have a direction and I'm not going to work towards it. You know, I might go out and kind of try to work out a couple times and all that, but if I don't know when I need to have my goal achieved, then it's very difficult to develop a game plan and figure out how you want to get there. So you need to set a deadline. So like, for example, if you want to make a higher level team or something like that, your deadline is going to be the tryout date. Whatever date the tryout is, you need to have improved to that point by that day. So that's kind of what a deadline is you need to know exactly when you want to have that achieved. Or if you don't like your ball control or your juggling skills, and especially with your weak foot, and you say, oh, well, I want to be able to juggle the ball 50 times without dropping it with my left foot, okay, when do you want to achieve that? You know, do you want to do it by the end of this month, the end of next month? Because once you figure out when you want to have that goal achieved, that's when you can really start working towards it. So set a deadline and figure out when you want to achieve what your goal is. So once you've figured out what your goal is and when you want to have it achieved, that's when you start developing your game plan. Your game plan is just how you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. So you want to make a certain team, how are you going to get there? And this starts by doing an honest self-assessment. You got to be honest with yourself. So look at yourself and figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and how they're holding you back from achieving what you want to achieve. And you know, you need to be honest with yourself. If your fitness isn't that great, fine, your fitness isn't that great. You know, I don't like how good I am with my weak foot. I think that's something I really need to work on. You know, so everybody has things they need to work on, but you've got to be honest with yourself when you're doing your assessment. So look at what your goal is and then say, okay, what's holding me back from achieving that goal? Because that's one of the things that you're going to want to work on. And then on the other hand, you're also going to want to figure out what you're strong at. So if you're trying to make a high-level team or something like that, you need to figure out what coaches are going to look at and see that's going to make them want you on the team, because that's something that you can work on and develop as well. And working on your weaknesses, and you're also going to try to develop your strengths. And that's how you're going to achieve your goal. So once you figured out what you're weak at, what you're strong at, what's holding you back, that's when you develop a game plan. So you want to figure out what you're going to do to get where you need to be. If you've got a tryout in 30 days and your fitness isn't very good, then you've got your deadline of 30 days and you can say, okay, what am I going to do to get my fitness where it needs to be by that tryout date? So you're going to start tomorrow, you're just going to go out and you're going to run a little bit. And you're just going to run a little bit every day and get stronger and stronger and stronger. Until you're finally where you need to be. And you can't run out there and just say, oh, well, I'm going to go run 5 miles tomorrow. You know, you kind of need to build up a little bit. And that's why you need to know what your deadline is, so you know how much time, so you can develop your game plan and work on what you need to work on. So the last thing, now that you've figured out what your goal is, when your deadline is, and how you're going to get there, you need to go out and execute. And you need to do this by practicing with a purpose. And what practicing with a purpose means is you don't want to walk out on the field like if you say you're going to work on your juggling skills for the next 30 days, you know, and you say, okay, I'm going to go juggle the ball for 15 minutes every day for the next 30 days. Well, that doesn't really help you, because it doesn't help you work on your weaknesses. Because the problem is, if you don't walk out on the field with a game plan and a purpose for what you're doing every day when you're practicing, then you're just going to do the things that kind of feel good. You're going to do the things that you're strong at, because it's not fun to work on the things that you're weak at. It's a lot more fun to practice the things that you're strong at. So you need to have a reason that you're out on the field and a thing that you're trying to develop every day when you're practicing, so you can work towards your goal. So a good example is if you wanted to work on your juggling, instead of saying, okay, tomorrow I'm going to work on my juggling for 15 minutes, I'm just going to juggle a ball for 15 minutes. What you'd say is, all right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to juggle a ball for 15 minutes. I'm going to do it in this sequence. I'm going to juggle the ball with both feet for 50 touches, and then I'm going to juggle the ball with my right foot for 50 touches, and then with my left foot for 50 touches. I'm just going to continue that sequence for the entire 15 minutes, and I'll just repeat it over and over again. See, so the first one doesn't have a purpose. It's just you out there with a ball juggling, which is fine, you'll get better and all that, but the second one really targets and focuses in on making sure that you're working your strong foot and your weak foot. So it's a lot better way to work out. So whenever you're going out, whenever you're practicing, have a purpose, have a reason for being there, have something that you're trying to develop specifically every time you practice. So to review, these are the 4 steps you can take to work towards achieving your goals in 2015. You need to know what your goals are, you need to have a deadline for those goals, you need to have a game plan, and then when you execute, you need to execute and practice with a purpose. So if you do those 4 things, you're going to be so much better off than if you just kind of aimlessly went out and didn't have a purpose and you were just practicing a little bit here or there. So go out there, have a reason for what you're doing, have a plan for what you're doing so that you can get better and you can be where you want to be. So I just want to close out with this quote. Without goals, you could spend your whole life running up and down the field and never score. I mean, that's the thing, is without a direction, without somewhere that you're trying to get, there's no point. There's no purpose. So figure out what your purpose is, figure out what your reason is, and figure out where you want to be, and then figure out how you're going to get there. So how'd you like this video? Did you guys like it? Was it helpful to you? Leave a comment below and let me know, or just hit the like button down below. If there's something that you'd like me to try or change, let me know that in the comments too. You know, I'm really here to try to help you guys out. I really want to make 2015 the year where Soccer Drills Daily can help you be the best player you can possibly be. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Remember to keep training. Thanks, guys.